How are you?
All right, we got sound. Hold on. We got sound. All right, there we go. I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Great.
Yep, there we go.
All
We
right.
even automatically started recording. How about that shit?
All right. Let's stop that part if we're talking first.
Yeah. Well, we don't. Boy, hey and howdy, everyone. This is Coach Mike Mack here, along with Whiskey Geo for our second, third. I don't even know what number it is. I think it's
That's
third.
number
We had an
three. It's my
intro.
number.
There you
Even
go.
got it on my screen somewhere.
Sweet,
There we go.
sweet. So here we are. We're coming to you live. We will as folks float in. Not sure if we get anyone. If we do, that's great. We'll acknowledge you on your way in. Today's topic, we're talking about a couple of things. And oh geez, I don't even have a script. You remember what they are, Gio?
I don't have a script, but I know what they are. The two topics are one, the broke and bitter phase is not permanent.
There you go.
And the second one is your kids need a dad, not a doormat.
Not a doormat.
All right.
That
So, in the interest of time, because we promised that these shows would be about a half an hour long, let's get right into it with the broken bitter phase isn't permanent. Tee us up, Mike.
broke and bitter was something I went through. Was It was ouchy. Let's put it that way. And I think a lot of divorced dads are gonna, if you're anything like me, you've got you got the shock of the fact that you get served, divorce coming, you didn't realize it, and then the financial hit because now you're separated, you're trying to do, financially support two households because now you're not in the same household. You're paying attorney fees, you're doing this, you're doing that, and things just not just mentally, financially, and it's easy to become bitter when you become broke. And
Absolutely.
I did get there. I got there fairly quickly, actually. And
We all do. It's rare that I meet dads that have this financial power to easily get through a divorce, all right? If you do, bless, because most cases, you know, 99% I recommend to have an attorney.
absolutely.
And by the way, before I move forward, I want to give again the general guideline of this show is not legal advice. This is coaching. This is two guys that have been through the ringer talking about their experiences,
Exactly.
just trying to guide other brothers through their experience, through
And
their
that's how
journey.
we coach. Whiskey Geo and I, we coach from the heart, from our own experiences, and that's what I appreciate very much with Geo, that he is, heart centered, and he's just like I am, wanting to serve our brothers out there. And so let's
So so the bitter
give a little.
phase.
You gave a post not too long ago about with the picture of your kid on the railroad tracks, and it gave a, to me, it was a wow moment, and not just how much money you spent, but you talked about keeping your eyes on the prize. Can you talk about how you went through such pain, such struggle, such hell, and got through it, man? I
Geez,
admire you.
that's a perfect fastball right down the middle for me to smack out of the park. All right, here we go. I don't hide it. I made a post and I regularly talk about this. My divorce cost me over six figures. And I was making $40,000 a year when I got divorced. Anybody who's semi intelligent in math knows that there's an issue, the numbers don't match. And there was somebody on the post that said, okay, Gio, like, I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but like, how the hell did you survive all this with the bitterness and everything? I kept my eyes on the prize. The focus was my son. The focus was getting shared custody. The focus was starting a new chapter in my life. Guys, I get it. Divorce is a bitch. All right. I'm not saying she is, but divorce, the process is a bitch.
It is.
The longer you harbor bitterness, anger, resentment, the more clouded your judgment is going to be, the more you're not going to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the reality is, the more this is going to cost you.
You talk about being blind to something, and there's certain there's certain, what's the word here? Emotions that will blind you. You talk about blind rage and blind, well, bitterness has a blindness to it as well. And even love, right? We talk about love being blind. And so how do we, I'm glad you brought that up, because sometimes in my mind, I know, remember in my time of being bitter and just, I made a lot of mistakes. The decisions I made from that place wasn't.
It's all a question of mindset, Mike. It's all a question of mindset. And the thing is that you have to take care of you. You have to absolutely take care of you. Listen, at the end of the day, whether or not you have kids, once the D word comes out, not the D word that the guys are thinking, once the D word divorce comes out, we have to start looking after number one. You should be looking after number one at all points. One of the reasons for divorce is because we forget to take care of ourselves.
We
We
do.
forget our boundaries, we forget our limits. Then shit goes sideways, then the divorce word comes out, and then it's like you harbor this anger, and this anger gets you nowhere. It's like that line that says, being angry is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but doesn't get you anywhere.
That's it.
You're just
Exactly.
rocking back and forth, right? You're always in the same spot. So you have to, and here's the tough part, and a lot of guys are going to be like, Gio, get the fuck out of here. Release her with love. You married this woman. Now, guys, hear me out. You married this woman. At a certain point, you had the hots for her. At a certain point, you saw your life with her. At a certain point, you fell in love with her. At
Can
a
I add
certain point,
one
in
more
half
thing?
a second. So you saw your life with her. You saw your future with her.
And I'm still in love with her, right? You still have that feelings. That's one of the things I still say. I still love my ex, even though I went through hell and all the bitterness. It seems like, how in the world do I still have those kinds of feelings
But that's where the bitterness
20
comes
years
from.
20 years later?
But Mike, that's where the bitterness comes from, because you love this woman and now the story is over.
Right.
And it's hard to accept. So
It
what
is.
do? You act a fool, you don't do things properly. There's all kinds of, but it's true, right? Because we lose that capacity to be logical,
Absolutely.
and it makes us do dumb things. And the more that we buy into this bitterness and this negative toxic mindset that we set on ourselves, the worse that it goes. Because I can tell you, things got a whole lot better when I decided to stop hating my son's mom. Things got a whole lot better when I accepted the fact that my second marriage was over. I released them both with love, stopped caring about what they were doing, and started focusing on me.
On you.
And it's simple. Things got better in my life. It doesn't mean that I stopped loving her. I'll say it to this day, and I'll take it to the grave. My second wife is the woman of my life. Circumstances created that we cannot be together, and that is fine. I've had to release her with love.
Such powerful words right there. Release her with love. 4 words. Release her with love. That's
Release
a
her with love.
powerful,
And Mateo's in the
powerful statement.
chat saying amen to that. Welcome, Mateo. And it's not easy. And guys, we talked about shrinking your circle and getting help. And it's simple. Anybody that you keep around you, if their mindset is fuck that bitch, knock them out. They're not due to be in your circle. They're not bringing you anything positive. And we see it in the comments sometimes, guys. And you should not be fueling this kind of negative mindset. I'm having a problem with my ex's new boyfriend. Knock him out. No.
That isn't that the initial. I've had that happen with, you know what I mean? You have that initial, don't you? I mean, I'm just being truthful. I mean, I'm a big guy. I can pretty much take anybody. And you have that urge. You have that like manly, I just want to, you know, knock him into
But
next
don't
week.
act on it.
Right.
But don't act on it. Anybody who's watched the movie Law Abiding Citizen, there's that scene where he gives the confession, okay? So he's like, you know, did you kill him? Well, I thought about it a lot in my, and there's other things that happen. Then, the attorney gets up. He's like, well, this is a slam dunk case. He's like, no, sit down. He's like, I thought about it. I didn't say I planned it. He's like, what man wouldn't? But keep that shit to yourself, because posting it online, and this is going to be a topic for another show, but posting shit online only creates negativity for it. So get help on your mindset. Release her with love.
The mindset, I love to think the mind as like a motor. And I think we've talked about this before, but it's the engine. And I'm coming from a truck driver. I view myself now as a big rig. It's going to sound weird, but I view myself as a big rig, and I'm still a truck driver because now I can move myself with purpose. My rear end, it moves with purpose now. It moves with purpose because now I know that my mind is a motor, and it connects to my heart, which is a transmission. I know that if I stay in neutral, I can rev my motor. It can, exactly what we're talking about. And it just goes crazy. All the thoughts of, this is just what we're talking about.
And you got to figure out whatever it is that's going to fix that, right?
Exactly.
For me it's the gym and healthy eating.
A healthy outlet for it. You're exactly right, Gio. And to put that into motion, get your rear end moving in a direction that's positive and builder. And that's what I needed 20 years ago. If I look back, and the reason that I'm in this group, the reason that I want to lead, I want to serve, is because I went through all my shit back there 20 years ago by myself. I don't know how I made it through. I didn't have a
Absolutely.
support group.
No, and this is just starting out. We're trying to keep this group as positive, but it also gives us a perfect segue into part 2 of this first topic, because it's the main creator of bitterness, the broke phase.
Ouch.
Guys, I am pro attorney. Okay. I am pro attorney, even in a walk away, divorce, whatever the case may be. I am pro attorney because I have seen too many pro se cases go sideways. It's an investment. All right, guys. Are you going to take a financial hit? Yes. My divorce cost me 6 figures. I was making $40,000 a year. I forgot what steak tasted like for a few years. All right.
I
I
love
didn't
that.
have a passion for whiskey back then because I couldn't fucking afford it. But divorce is an investment. And when I hear it, it breaks my heart to hear guys say, like, I can't afford it. And then they end up picking shitty representation, or they try to do it on their own,
On their own.
and they get railed. And then what happens? They become more bitter. And then what happens? They become more negative. Then what happens? They become more toxic. You
Yep.
know, we
And
spend
that was me. 20 years ago, that was me. I didn't do like you did, Gio. I was that. That was me back then.
yeah. And
I went
guys,
the
let's
cheap
be
route.
honest. We're going to spend money on a lot of dumb shit. Right? We're going to spend money on a lot of dumb shit. You want new golf clubs, you want new this, new that, whatever, you're going to find the money, right? The problem is men view attorneys as an expense and not an investment. If you don't have kids, the investment into an attorney makes sure that you get back on your feet quicker. If you have kids, here's the thing, okay? One night, way back when, your child started in your nutsack and ended the night in her oven. That shot was the signature on an 18-year contract with that woman for that child. No ifs, buts about it. You are tied to her for
The
18
deal, the
years.
deal is done at that
The
point.
deal is done. So no matter what you do, you got to invest, because your kid deserves a healthy co-parenting relationship. And if it cannot have a healthy co-parenting relationship, deserves two parents who understand the guidelines to give that kid the best world possible.
And if you have one parent that's not, then be the dad that they need. That
Yeah.
and and I don't know how much more we're going to talk about the broke, but this leads right into the kids don't need a doormat; they need a dad.
And we're going to segue into that in 30 seconds, because what I'm going to tell you guys, your car breaks down, you're going to find $1,500 for the transmission. The roof starts leaking, you're going to find money to repair the roof. Let's go extreme. A crack addict is going to find a way to pay for its $1,000 a day habit. So don't fucking tell me that you cannot find the money to pay for an attorney. And this is going to light men up. When I was getting divorced, $40K a year, I moved into a studio apartment, no bedroom. Okay. The damn thing was so small, I could almost take a shit, watch TV, and cook supper from the same goddamn point in the studio.
The same place, the same location.
Okay. That's how small it was. But it was temporary because it was a transition for where we were headed.
Exactly.
I took side jobs. Oh, if I didn't have my kid, I didn't have friends around then. I had to work. Delivery. I delivered food. I worked in a warehouse. I did some cash jobs. Whatever it took. I almost paid my attorney in rolls of quarters. But I didn't pick no cheap attorney. I picked an expensive, good attorney. And we're going to have a show on how to pick an attorney.
That'd be great.
Let's make a note. It might be a good one for next week. But I made sure that I had the best representation possible. And the payoff is there 15 years later. And I don't care what men say, the justice system is against dads and this and that. Let me tell you something. The excuse of the justice system is against dads is the same shit as guys who complain that referees hate their team and love another.
Yep.
Before you get there, did you do everything you could to make sure that you had the best odds in your corner?
You got to play the game that you've been you now on a court. I'm going to say on a court, right? Pun intended here. You've got to play the game that you're handed. And if you're going to be in the court, you've got to play that game. And in order to play that game, you've got to have representation to be able to get you down the field and get you success. And I totally agree with you, Gio. Totally agree.
The last point I'll make on this is, you guys will see me put a note in my comments being like, this is not legal advice. We start off the show by saying this is not legal advice. And then we have brothers who will put a post and they're like, I need advice. Fine. And then guys act like they're giving sound legal advice. They're not. Okay. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
And sometimes they stink.
But you don't have to smell everybody's fart, right?
That's it.
Every situation is different.
Absolutely.
The laws where you're getting divorced might be different. So don't take things to bank on what certain people say. It's the reason why, as a divorce coach, I'm not going to give you some Google University bullshit answer because I'm not an attorney. There's certain things in life you want to go to Google and get a new recipe for whatever you want to cook. Fine. But I'm not going to go to a butcher for a second opinion on surgery that I need. Right?
Exactly.
I'm going to go see the doctor who's got the certificate on the wall that's done this surgery 1,000,000 fucking times. And he's going to tell me if I'm okay. If I go to see him and say, my butcher said that, it could be done with a fork and knife, and
it doesn't even have to be the butcher. It could be the general practitioner. It could just be a family doctor, right?
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, we're talking about the same thing here. You want to get something fixed that's wrong with you, find the best.
And I think now is the good time to move into our second topic. Your kids need a dad and not a dorm. My son has told me often, Dad, I've seen you battle for me all my life. No matter what bitterness is going on, no matter how broke you are, when it comes to your kids, give your kids the best of you. That's what they need. You've got an ex that's showering them with gifts. Great. Shower them with time. They need a dad.
They do. Absolutely.
Too often I see dads give up. I see dads spend time with the kids and they start asking what's going on at mom's. Focus on your time with them, and whatever time that you have with them is precious.
Have boundaries. Because when you start to let them, into the adult stuff that goes on, that's not, your kids are not a weapon. Stay away from that. Don't be drawn into that BS. Just don't. You got to be strong. You got to be able to have the boundaries of being the dad. Don't be bad mouthing the mom. My experience, I was bad mouthed. Okay, yeah, I made my mistakes and I probably should have been, but to make the kids into a weapon, that was my experience 20 years ago. I was alienated from my kids because of my ex-wife's words, and everything was my fault. Nothing was her fault, kind of thing. And so be careful about how, you know, uh, I was somewhat of a doormat back then. And
Your job is to protect the mom. Listen to me carefully. Your job is to protect the mom, no matter what the fuck is going on between you two. And I've had the boyfriends come up to me and challenge me. I've had the boyfriends text me and cause shit. I've had boyfriends telling my son that I wasn't shit. I don't care. Have you ever heard of the line, don't argue with an idiot in public? People won't know who the moron is. Whatever time you have with your kid, you focus on the positivity. And find a way to just, tell your son, look, in life, some people are not going to like you. Some people are not going to like daddy, and that's okay.
exactly.
The important thing is that daddy loves you and that you love daddy. That's it.
Right there.
That's it.
There's the boundaries. There's the focus, the eyes on the prize. What you just said right there.
And I could have gone to the cops so many times. This boyfriend that challenged me to a fight. This boyfriend that got into my face. This one here that did that. For what? I have guys who call me about, getting divorced, and they're like, well, at the same time, like, I want to, no, there's legal avenues. You don't have to, like, if it's serious enough where you have to press charges, go for it, bless. But you have to make sure that it's logic speaking and not animosity and not bitterness. Your kids just need a dad.
So true.
And we spoke about the broke and bitterness impacts the way that guys act as dads all the time.
It does. It did for me. They're linked. We've got to realize where that bitterness has come from. Yeah, we're going to be broke, but it's for a reason. And no storm is permanent, And if I could not,
Say that again. Say that again.
no storm is permanent. Is that the part?
One last time. Sorry.
No storm is permanent.
Okay, keep going.
Every storm moves. Okay. If I could have known that back then, I thought my financial ruin, love ruined, the self-esteem ruined, all these things felt like they were ruined forever. But I want you to know there's no such thing as a permanent storm. You can rebuild. Be a man. Be a dad, not a doormat. The bitterness, the broke, it's a phase. It's a thing that you can rebuild. You can get through. Gio and I both are testaments to that. We're going to shout it from the rooftops, And
Well,
that,
here's the thing. I made that post on Facebook, right? I made a post that talked about my story from A to Z, right? And where I started and where I'm at. Got over 200 likes on it. And the comments are like, "Oh my god, like this is possible?" Guys, if you stop and look around you and ask for help and start talking to other men, you're going to find that there's so many success stories of guys who have gone through divorce, that have gone through the ringer and have come out stronger because of it. But what happens is that your bitterness and your mindset does not allow you to see those positives.
absolutely.
Why? Because it confronts you. It forces you to look at yourself in front of the mirror and say, shit, I can't wallow in self-pity. I gotta fight. And if I fight, something good might come out of it. And that is fucking scary, because you guys, you put your heart on the line because you love this woman. And it's shit all over your life. And now you're like, now I got to battle to have the kids in it. What if the same thing happens? It might. You know what? You might get your ass handed to you. But at the very least, battle for everything and then deal with it. Because the truth is, I have seen, and this is personal experience, not statistics, not legal advice, not shit, but I have seen more men have successful divorces, custody cases, and everything when they loaded up for battle and took it the right way. When their mindset was clear to go and be a dad and fight for their kids,
Bingo.
I have seen more. And whenever I've seen resentment, whenever I've seen guys call the lawyer and, oh, she's a bitch and she's this and she's that, it clouds judgment, costs you more, and can cost you in the results.
Absolutely.
A dad is supposed to be a leader, a protector, and a hunter. Then fucking step up and do your job. And no matter how emotionally hurt you are, there are people out there. There are 4,300 other men in our group right now that have gone through this kind of shit. And there's all kinds of positive experiences. You know, we're two divorce coaches that in the group are providing free content. We'll have conversations with guys. I've been a business coach for 4 years. My specialty is removing the possibility of you saying, I didn't know.
Wow. That's powerful.
The resources
Move
are
that.
there. If you don't use them, it's on you.
Bingo.
The group is there. We're there to talk.
Lean into
We
us.
don't sell coaching, but like if guys need coaching sessions, we're there. And like my mission in life, I earn a good living. If we got to have regular sessions, I do it at a discount. Just because I want to be there for guys. And before it even gets to that point, there's a lot of conversations that can go on. The resources are there.
Start there. Start with the resources. There's going to be guides. There's this podcast. There's a little preview. There's going to be lives that are going to happen. There's so much that we're giving out there. Start there. Start with an introductory post that says, hey, I'm struggling with this, and watch what happens. Watch the magic happen, because I call this group a convoy for a reason, because a true convoy, you know, when you're traveling along the same direction, the same highway, the divorce freeway, right? And somebody has troubles and they get broke down on the side of the road. A convoy means you're going to have 2, 3, whoever needs to stop by, stop with them and say, hey, what's wrong? How can we get you back up and going? That's the beauty of this community, this convoy.
And guys, I'm going to give a lot of guys a cold shower on this. There's no excuse not to fight. There's no excuse not to lawyer up. There's no excuse for nothing. At the end of the day, it is your willingness to fight and do what's necessary in the face of uncertainty for you and your kids.
That part is not being a doormat, right? What Gio just said, that is right there of not being a doormat. Be the dad your kid needs. And that's,
mindset. Get to the gym. We talked about it last week. You can find a gym for $10 a month. I'm sorry, but everybody can find $10 a month.
Yeah.
$10 a month, or work out from home, or
that's it. I got my
whatever
weights.
it is.
I work out at home. I don't have. I'm out in the boonies. There's no gym around here. I walk. I do nature walks. I ride bike. I hike, backpack. You know, there's all kinds. If you're talking about exercise and a healthy outlet, there you go. Being
Just
able
like
to
healthy eating, right? I had a former friend of mine, and I'm always going to remember him because he gave me this line. He's a fellow Italian. And he goes, Gio, he goes, there's no excuse for poor eating. He goes, as long as, he goes, for $10, you can buy a little bit of ground meat, a can of sauce, and a pack of pasta.
There you go.
He goes, you can eat healthy. It's not the healthiest, but it's healthier than shit. What's a can of tuna run for this right now? $1?
Buck. You know.
Got protein. Right. Tastes good.
I get it in packets. That's my go-to. That's my snack. Little that's my protein snack. That's what's
There's
helping me.
all kinds of things that you can do, but it's a mindset. Bitterness is a mindset. Bitterness slows you down. Broke is a mindset.
It is. It's a
You
storm.
know, it's a storm, but you decide how long it lasts,
Exactly.
right? So we're kind of getting into the recap of the show. So bitterness is a mindset. You decide whether or not you are going to hinder yourself in this process. Do what
Absolutely.
it takes, get the support, clean up your life, do whatever it takes to get you going properly. Broke is a mindset. There are companies looking for employees everywhere, evening and weekend work, whatever it is.
Work from home. They're
Work from home.
legit opportunities out there, right?
There's options out there. Damn it, there is DoorDash available. If your car
Yep,
starts, you can deliver food.
that's it.
So, and that you make your own out. So there's ways of making money. You don't want to, that's on you.
And you can have all the excuses you want. Oh, the insurance, this, oh that, but just
And
just
this
do
is
it.
and I'm talking about like the extreme cases where men don't have family and friends in their corner that can help them financially. Because that's another thing, right? Step on your damn pride. It takes a village to raise a child, right? Well, in the process of divorce, you need the village.
Absolutely.
Ask for help.
Yep.
I've asked for help. I've given help. And all that, at the end of the day, your kids need a dad. And my last comment on this, and then I want your points on all three subjects, but I've coached soccer for 25 years. No matter how tired I was from my work, when I crossed that line from the parking lot to the field, the kids don't give a shit that I just worked 13 hours. The kids don't care about anything that's going on in my life. They need a coach. So I
Absolutely.
always made a promise that the second I crossed that line, I was all in for the kids. As a
Beautiful.
dad, it's the same thing.
Beautiful.
The second your door opens to go pick up your kids deserve all of you.
Where focus what's the phrase? Where focus goes, energy flows. Is that right?
Where your focus goes, your energy flows.
So change the focus, just like what Gio's talking about. You cross that line, your focus changes, and your energy will flow in that direction. We're 37 minutes in. Appreciate you, Gio. Great, great session with you, my brother. And I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being such a great brother. And thank you for Mateo for listening. I'm not sure if he's still listening in, but we've got some interaction that is beautiful to see. And I appreciate you brothers out there in the group. If you're not in the group and you're viewing this podcast, you can find us. Oh, hey, Mail says here, we'll even show it on the stream there. We're showing proof right there.
Thank you, Mateo.
Thank you so much, Mateo.
And there's lots of great things coming, guys. Like we
There
have
is.
some things planned coming out. We want to make this group get even bigger, even stronger. So thank you everyone for your support. I love each and every one of you. Mike, meeting you has been an absolute blessing in my life because to have somebody who's got that thought process, we're so linked up in our values that
We didn't even know it. I mean, we've only done this. We only get live on the podcast, guys. But we're just
a
chatting.
couple of messages shared every week, but
Yeah.
other than that, it's
Other
like
than that,
most of our
I mean,
messages like this is what we're talking about. Yep, okay, let's go.
there's no script. You don't see us reading the script or check. I even forgot what the freaking topics were at the beginning. Okay, that's what we're doing. We're speaking from the heart, and man, I really do appreciate you, Gio. All right, almost 40 minutes in. We've got to end this thing. You all have a great rest of your week. We will see you Friday. Yeah, we had a little snafu. This is Saturday, but we're going to go Fridays mornings, 8 a.m. Eastern. We'll see you all next time.